Kahulu, Pepeke, Painu. And just to break it down, as we should understand where the meanings come from, first of all, you notice two important pieces, the first being kahulu. And to understand what is a kahulu is a modifier. A kahulu always follows whatever it's modifying. If it's following a noun, in English you'd call it adjective. If it's following a verb, in English you would call it an adverb. And so the kahulu pepeke painu is a specific kind of kahulu, where the kahulu happens to be a pepeke painu. And so the root word of a pepeke painu, of course, we should realize in English you'd call it a verb sentence. So whether it's a verb stative or an ano, or a verb transitive, yeah, or a hamani, or a hana, hanapili, or a verb intransitive, or what we call a hehele, or a hana pili ole. Some of the other words they may be used. But again, these are the basic so-called verb sentences. However, this is not a sentence. In fact, how it's being used, remember, it's being used as a kahulu. And we have various types. Sometimes this one is called type A. Sometimes it's called piko ole or piko ho ole. And what that means really is that there is no new piko. So let's look at some examples of what that might mean. And we'll come back to the verb markers or the maka painu, as you all should understand already. But let's look at that first example. Oye kekane ikoi. The word kekane, we should realize, that's what's called a kia. That's a noun phrase. Sometimes people refer to as it's called a kia alakai, or the head noun, the thing. Yeah, kekane. And then the question about what about the thing? Well, we will have a kahulu, yeah, which describes the thing. And so we might be more familiar with something like oye kekane nui, oye kekane akamai, and of course the word nui and akamai describing kekane. Now what's called a kahulu pepeke painu, what you notice, there is a maka painu here, like the word e. And so really what happens is that this phrase that we call the kahulu pepeke, or the relative clause, is describing the kia. Yeah, so that's what its function is. And because it has an e, so for example, let's look at something else, just to kind of, if I had kamea, the thing, that's my kia. Which thing? I might say kamea vai vai. The thing that is expensive, but a thing of great value or great wealth. Vai vai, of course, you notice that has no maka painu, which suggests that it's something that is the usual, it's the common. Now, if I were to add a maka painu, for example, I vai vai, it's the thing that was perhaps valuable in the past, or, as we should realize, vai vai being a VS, right, a stative, meaning it's something that is of value now. It has become valuable. So the thing that which is valuable now, I vai vai. Now, if I had another maka painu, for example, like a, that would make it a vai vai, something that would become valuable, should be valuable, or in a habitual sense is valuable. And when we look at the maka painu, just to jump all the way back on the other side, that's what we notice, I painu. So if it's an action like, for example, kawahine ihele, that's the woman who went, completed action. Kawahine I akamai, that's the woman who was intelligent, but more usual, the woman that has become intelligent. I akamai, it has occurred. So we know I, of course, has those meanings, just like with that same other I that we've learned, that maka painu I. So that's the good thing about this system, it's the same maka painu. Yeah, we should realize e painu ne, of course, is something that's ongoing, happening right now, is in the process of. So kawahine ehelene, the woman who is going now. Kawahine ehelene ikahalepule, the woman who's going to church right now. She's in the process of going there. Now, when I add a VS, for example, kawahine e hauoline, that's the woman who is in the process of becoming happy. She is becoming happy. Now, when she becomes happy, kawahine I hauoli. Eana, again, just like the eana, we notice we have two here, and that's because just to kind of for us guys to kind of remember to think of Eana as, really what we call in progress. So whether it's something that was in the past progressive, in the past in progress, that's the was occurring, or in the future in progress. Yeah, future. And so think of things like kawahine e heleana I kahalepule, the woman who was going to church yesterday. And the second one, kawahine e heleana I kahalepule, the woman who will be going to church perhaps tomorrow. Yeah. Now, in regards to VS words, same thing. Kawahine e ma'iana, the woman who had been getting sick. Yeah, inehine. Or kawahine e ma'iana I kalapopo, the woman who's going to be sick tomorrow perhaps. Yeah, so, and the last one, of course, e painu we should already recognize as the would, should, shall, ought to. Now, there's another one I add a lot of times, and that's the directional ne. Many of my students know also that I introduced this early on. And again, it's the same idea of something that I, and generally the idea of I heleakune, which had just gone, I ma'iihone, who had just been sick. And so the idea of recently or just, is kind of connected with that idea of the direct, directional ne. Okay, so let's look at some other examples that we have here. Yeah, hekepani kamea. Yeah, hekepani kamea. The one is Japanese. Yeah, which one? And again, you notice that sense of which one. I'm going to describe which one. This is what we call the Kahulu Pepeke Painu. And again, why do we call it a Painu? Because look at the type of the Kahulu. The type of the Kahulu to describe kamea, you notice, is a Painu. Yeah, the word lave, which means to take or to bring. Well, we notice that this actually has an ia. So of course, when you have the ia, that means that something has which is being brought or is going to be taken. And no, you notice ene, elave iene tells you, it's a thing that which is being happening now, is being brought or is being taken. And probably which is being taken to the hospital. Now again, we should realize the word brought and take is really the same word. It all depends on where you're at, right? If I'm at the hospital, of course, that would be brought there because you're at the hospital. If you're probably at home and someone's going to be taken to the hospital, then we use the word taken. But anyway, just to go back to this, the ene tells you here that this is something that's happening. Lavi'ia, that's something. So the simple translation, the one that is being brought right now to the hospital is Japanese. And again, just to understand what is the function of the kahulu, the function of all of this is just to describe kamea. Yeah, hekepani kamea. That is the root of the sentence, hepo'o and the piko. Well, which mea? Elave iane ikaho kapila, which is being brought to the hospital. So the third one, oye kekane e hiamoyana inehine. And again, kekane, what is that called? That's your kia. That's a noun phrase. That's the thing. In fact, the other thing is you're going to realize anything can have a kahulu. I repeat, anything, any noun phrase can have a kahulu. Actually, any memea can have a memea. So anyway, I want to get too deep into that one now. But again, any kind of word like kane can have a kahulu. The example in this one is that we realize that this kahulu is like a Pepeke Painu. It's almost like a sentence, or it's a verb phrase. Ehimoyana inehine was sleeping, had been sleeping yesterday. Oyeke kane, which kane? I'm describing which one? The one who was what? Was sleeping yesterday. Again, to describe the kia. Helu eha. Yeah. Wa ikeao. Oh, so how you include this? Wa ikiwao ikamea. Again, that's your kia, right? The one, the thing, the kind. Which thing? Emeliana ikapo apopo. Now you notice emeliana ikapo apopo. Po apopo tells you it's in the future. Therefore, this e painuana is explaining something that will be occurring in the future. Wa ikiwao, I saw. Ikamea, the one, the person, the guy, the kind. Emeliana, who will be singing, who will be performing tomorrow night. And again, what is the purpose of Emeliana? Is to describe Kamea. That is its purpose. So a kahulu's purpose, again, is to describe whatever's in front of it. Yeah. And the last one, Mahea kawahine. Yeah, so where's the woman? The woman, that's your kia. Well, which woman? I want to describe her. I'm going to give an explanation. I'm going to give color. I'm going to add something to, again, the potential of what the Kahulu Pepeke Painu does. It gives you a full idea of who or what you're talking about. So where's the woman? I don't know which woman you're talking about. E hula. Yeah, who would dance, who should dance, who shall dance. That's what they do. Where's the woman who dances, or who would dance, or who should dance? So again, e hula, like a Pepeke Painu, is describing kawahine. And so a lot of things we think about, when we think about as a rule, is to kind of always remember is that this kahulu's function is to describe the kia. Or I would like to say is the kia, for example, kawahine is the piko, right? Who's going to dance? The woman. What was left over? Kekane. What is being brought? Kamea. Who was sleeping yesterday? Kekane. So you notice again is that what we call the kia is the piko. And so that's why you notice it says piko ho ole. And what they mean by this title is that there is no new piko. The kia is the piko. That there is no other. Yeah, so if you think of example, well, who's going to dance? They're not talking about somebody else dancing. That the kia, that's the piko. Okay, so let me get to the whiteboard here.